like a sacred thing, like it knew more than the radio could sing. The room was quiet, the light was low, and outside evening moved slow. You brushed the dust off the sleeves so well, like opening up a story you knew by heart to tell. I watched your hands, I watched your face, and felt the whole room change its place. You closed your eyes before the sound, like you already knew what would come around. Then the needle fell so soft, so true, and the night began with you. Grandpa's old records turning in the glow, songs from a world I was too young to know. Every crackle, every little line somehow felt like it was mine. I didn't know the words back then, but I still hear them now again in that warm and quiet room. My whole life began to bloom. The lamp was gold, the curtain still. The house sat softly on that hill, and somewhere through the window frame, the distant world just wasn't the same. You tapped the table with your hand, like time itself would understand. I saw a smile I can't forget, the kind that lingers with me yet. You said, just listen, don't say a thing, like music had its own remembering. Then the singer's voice came drifting through, and the night grew close anew. Grandpa's old records turning in the glow, songs from a world I was too young to know. Every crackle, every little line somehow felt like it was mine. I didn't know the words back then, but I still hear them now again in that warm and quiet room. My whole life began to bloom. Maybe love begins like this, not with a kiss, but with a wish, a sound that stays, a room, a chair, a voice that lingers in the air. Maybe all I came to be started there beside your knee, with a spinning black and gold goodbye, and a song that never learned to die. Grandpa's old records playing in my soul, old enough now to finally know. Every crackle, every fading rhyme was shaping me the whole long time. I was only just a boy, learning music could hold joy. And in that room, so warm, so small, I first heard love inside it all. They said just stand here hold it tight. Don't worry about the empty seats tonight. The stage was smaller than I thought, and every breath I took just caught. My hands were cold, my voice was thin, like I didn't quite belong within. But somewhere in that quiet space, I saw your smile across my face. You gave a nod from the second row, like, go on kid, just let it flow. And suddenly the room stood still, waiting on my fragile will. The first time I sang, my voice shook slow, like a secret I was scared to show. Every word felt far too loud in a half-empty, silent crowd. But somewhere deep inside my chest, something rose above the rest. And though I almost turned away, a song in me refused to stay. The microphone was slightly bent, like it had seen what others meant. And I could hear my heart beat loud, echoing beyond the crowd. I missed a note, I lost the line, thought this was never meant to be mine. But then I heard a soft applause before I even found the cause. You closed your eyes and softly swayed, like the music hadn't been betrayed. And in that moment I could see, maybe this was meant for me. The first time I sang, I almost ran, like I wasn't ready to be that man. But every crack inside my tone felt like something I had known. And though the room was small and bare, there was something in the air that told me softly, deep and true, this road was waiting just for you. Not every dream begins with light. Some start in trembling fear and fright. But even in a fragile sound, a life can turn, a path be found. The first time I sang, I didn't shine, but something in me crossed the line. And even now, through every song, I hear that boy who felt so wrong, standing there afraid to try, with a voice that almost passed him by. But in that quiet, trembling stand, I first became who I am. The room was loud, but not for me, just voices drowning quietly. Glasses clinked, the lights were low, no one cared about the show. I sang like I was on my own, like every word was just a stone dropped into a silent sea. No one ever noticing me. But halfway through a broken line, I felt a shift in space and time, like something in the air had changed, and suddenly I wasn't the same. That was the night someone noticed me, in a room where I used to disappear. One pair of eyes just quietly said, I hear you standing here. And I didn't sing louder but something opened like a door the moment I was truly seen. I didn't know just who you were or why your silence felt so sure, but every word I sang that night felt steadier, felt more right. The world was still the same old place, but I could feel a different space where maybe I could finally be someone more than barely seen. Your eyes stayed locked, you didn't move, like every note had something to prove. And in that stillness I could tell this was the start of something real. That was the night someone noticed me in a room where I used to fade. No spotlight, no grand melody, just a quiet connection made. And I didn't need a crowded cheer or 1,000 hands to bring, 'cause one true moment, crystal clear, can change the way a heart can sing. Not every dream begins with fame. Sometimes it's just a whispered name, or just a look across the room that pulls a hidden light from gloom. That was the night someone noticed me, and nothing else would feel the same. It wasn't loud, it wasn't free, but it slowly called my name. And even now, through every stage, through every song I'll ever be, I still return to that small place where someone first believed in me. It felt like any other night, same old stage, same faded light, same few faces, same slow songs. Nothing said where I belonged. I sang the lines I always knew, like something safe to get me through. Didn't think to look around, didn't think I'd be found. But when the last note left the air, I felt a silence settle there. Not empty like it used to be, but something watching over me. That was the night that changed everything. Though nothing loud was said, no crowded room, no shining ring, just a quiet voice instead. You've got something, don't let it go. Simple words, but somehow true. And in that moment, soft and low, a different life came into view. You didn't smile, you didn't cheer, just stood like you were always here. Like you had known before that night that I was almost ready to try. You said my name like it was new, like it had meaning I never knew. And suddenly the room I knew didn't feel the way it used to do. The walls were still, the lights were dim, but everything had shifted in a single glance, a single line, and something deeper came alive. That was the night that changed everything. No grand applause, no flashing lights, just a stranger noticing what I'd been hiding all my life. You've got a voice, don't turn away. You said it like a simple truth, and in those words I heard you say, this world has been waiting for you. Not every door burst open wide, some just quietly move aside. And all it takes is one small key to unlock who you're meant to be. That was the night that changed everything. Though the room looked just the same, no spotlight fell, no choir would sing, but I would never be the same. And even now, through every song, through every place I've ever been, I still go back to where it all began, in that quiet moment then. The morning came too quietly, like it didn't want to bother me. The suitcase by the wooden chair had been waiting longer than I dared. The house still held the night before, every step, every creaking floor. And in the silence I could feel that this goodbye was far too real. You didn't ask me to stay, didn't try to block my way, just stood there in that open door, like you had seen this all before. I'm leaving home with a song in my chest and a heart that doesn't know what's next. Every step feels far too long, but I know I have to carry on. There's a world I've never seen, waiting somewhere in between every fear and every dream, and I don't know what it means. You folded words into your hands like something I would understand, but all you said was take your time, and somehow that felt more than kind. The road outside was cold and wide, like it had nothing left to hide, and I stood there between two lives, not quite sure which one was mine. But then I heard a voice so low, not from you but deep below. It said, if you don't leave today, you'll always wish you went away. So Every step is breaking me, but it's the only way to be free. There's a world beyond this street, calling softly underneath. Every fear I couldn't name, every spark I couldn't tame. Maybe love means letting go, even when you don't want to. Maybe dreams are meant to break everything you thought was true. And maybe one day I'll return with something more than what I've learned. But right now all I have to show is this song and the need to go. I left that home with a song in my chest and a heart that was put to the test. Every step felt far too wrong, but I knew I had to move along. And though I turned to look once more at the life I had before, I didn't walk, I couldn't run. I just followed what I'd begun. The city hums, it never sleeps, but somehow it don't hear me. Neon lights on broken streets, shining down so clearly. I walk alone past crowded bars, where laughter spills like rain, but every voice just feels so far, like I don't speak their name. I thought I'd find myself out here, somewhere in the glow, but all I found is quiet fear in places I don't know. City lights and empty nights, shining on a stranger's face. Every dream that felt so right feels a little out of place. I came here with a song to sing, but no one's listening. And all these streets don't feel like mine, just borrowed space and borrowed time. The room I rent is cold and bare, a bed, a chair, a view of windows filled with life somewhere that I don't belong to. I play my songs in half-lit rooms where no one says my name, and every night I leave too soon, but come back all the same. There's something in me holding on, though everything feels wrong. A quiet voice that carries on, saying this is where you belong. City lights and empty nights, they don't know who I am, but somewhere in these endless sights I'll find where I should stand. I didn't come this far to fade, or let this dream just die. So I keep walking through the gray till something answers why. Maybe it's not meant to be easy, maybe the road has to bend, maybe the silence is teaching me how to begin again. still calling out my name. Every step through doubt and fight is fueling every flame. And even if I'm still unknown, still chasing something far, I won't let this road be walked alone. I know just who I are. I stayed too late again tonight. Same old song, same fading lights. No one clapped, no one stayed. Just echoes of the plans I made. I walked outside, the air was cold. Felt like every dream I sold was just a story I believed that never really believed in me. I held a paper in my hand with every show I thought I planned, but every line just felt so thin, like something breaking deep within. I almost gave it up tonight. Let it fall, just walk away. Left my dreams under that light, like they were never meant to stay. I stood there thinking, what's the use? Maybe I was chasing truth that never had a place for me in this quiet, endless city. The mirror didn't look the same, like it forgot to say my name. And every song I used to know just felt like something long ago. I thought of home, that softer place where I still had a little space to be someone without a doubt, not someone trying to figure it out. My voice was gone, my hands were tired of holding on to something wired between a dream and letting go, and not knowing which to choose below. I almost gave it up tonight. Felt it slipping through my hands. Every reason, every fight started losing where it stands. I said maybe this is it. Maybe I just don't fit in a world that doesn't hear what I've been trying all these years. But somewhere in that broken sound, a quiet whisper still was found, not loud enough to make me stay, but not enough to walk away. I almost gave it up tonight, but something wouldn't let me fall. Through the dark and fading light, I still heard that distant call. And though I don't know where it leads, or if it's more than what I need, So I stayed just one more day.
The night was long, I lost my way, almost let it fade away. Every step felt like goodbye to something I could not define. I stood there with a tired heart, thinking maybe this was the part where I finally let it go and never let it show. But in the quiet something stayed, a fragile light that never swayed. Not loud enough to lead the way, but strong enough to make me stay. I didn't win, I didn't shine, didn't change a thing that night. But when I stood there on that line, I chose not to walk out of sight. So I stayed, though I was weak, though I had no words to speak. Through the doubt, through the gray, I stayed, I just stayed. The streets were cold, the sky was pale, like a story without a tale. But somewhere deep beneath the fear was something still holding me here. I didn't run, I didn't hide, just stood there with nothing left inside except a voice I couldn't deny that wouldn't let me say goodbye. It didn't promise anything, no victory, no song to sing, just whispered softly through the pain. If you stay, you'll try again. I didn't win, I didn't rise, didn't see it in their eyes, but something in me wouldn't break, wouldn't bend or fade away. So I stayed, though I was lost, though I didn't know the cost. Through the dark, through the day, I stayed, I chose to stay. Not every hero makes a sound, some just don't leave the ground. And maybe strength is simply this, refusing to admit you missed. I didn't win, I didn't prove anything the world could use, but I stood where I once swayed, and in that moment I stayed. And though the road is still unclear, and I still carry every fear, I know one truth won't slip away. I didn't leave, I chose to stay. I stood outside that quiet place with my name I couldn't face, written small on paper thin, like I didn't quite belong within. The door was old, the glass was clear, I could see the world I feared. And every step I took to stand felt like more than I had planned. I almost turned, I almost walked back to where I never talked myself into believing this could be something I might miss. A door finally opened in front of me. After nights I couldn't breathe, after doubts that wouldn't leave, it was standing there so quietly. No bright lights, no grand parade, just a chance I almost gave away. And in that silence I could see this moment had been waiting for me. My hand was shaking on the frame, like I was calling out my name to a life I'd never known, to a place that felt like home. I thought of every night before, standing outside of the doors, never sure what I would find, or if I'd be left behind. But something in me wouldn't break, not this time, not this day. And every fear I used to hold felt a little less control. The door finally opened in front of me, not because I forced my way, but because I chose to stay. When I almost couldn't be, no one told me I'd arrive, no one said I'd feel alive. But standing there I understood, maybe this is where I should. Not every dream comes crashing through. Sometimes it waits for you to stand long enough to see what you were meant to be. A door finally opened in front of me, and I stepped through quietly, with every doubt still inside. But I didn't turn this time, and even now I still recall that simple step that changed it all. Not a shout, not a plea, just a door that opened for me. It wasn't louder than before. Same old stage, same wooden floor. But something felt a little new in the way they looked at you. A few more faces stayed behind. A few more eyes began to find the words you sang without a doubt were finally reaching And when the last note faded down, there wasn't just that empty sound, but hands that lingered just a bit, like something real had come from it. Now they hear my name, not just another passing sound, not just a face they don't recall, but something turning slowly round. Now they hear my name, spoken softly through the night. And though I'm still the same inside, it feels a little more like light. A stranger walked up after the show, said, I just thought you should know, there's something in the way you sing, like it's more than everything. I didn't know what I should say, just smiled and let it drift away. But in my chest it stayed somehow, and I can still feel it now. I've been here longer than they know, through nights that never seem to grow, and all at once it starts to show the seeds I planted long ago. Now they hear my name in places I don't recognize, and every time it feels the same, like I'm seeing through new eyes. Now they hear my name, but I still carry who I was. Every doubt and every flame, every quiet just because. I'm not a star, I'm not a flame, just someone learning how to stay. But if they remember just my name, then maybe I'm on my way. Now they hear my name, and it echoes just enough to remind me why I came, and why I never gave it up. And though I'm still not where I'll be, and there's so much I've yet to claim, for the first time I can see they remember my name. I thought the night had come and gone, just another place, another song. I stepped outside to catch my breath like I always did, nothing left. But through the door I heard a sound, something familiar spinning round. I turned my head, I stood in place, and time just slowed without a trace. It wasn't loud, it wasn't clear, but something in me said, stay here. And then I heard it once again, a voice I knew but couldn't defend, a song they played again tonight, floating softly through the room. Not just a passing, fading light, but something that refused to move. And I didn't say a single word, just let it play, just let it be. But in that moment I finally heard what my music meant to me. No one knew I stood outside, no one saw what I tried to hide. They laughed and talked, they drank and stayed, while my song quietly replayed. A stranger tapped his glass in time, another hummed a simple line, and for the first time I could see this wasn't just for me. I used to sing to fill the air, to prove that I was even there, but now it lived beyond my voice, and somehow that became the choice. A song they played again tonight, not because they had to do, but something in it felt so right, like it had found its way through. And though I didn't take a bow, didn't step back on that stage, I knew something had changed somehow. I turned another page. Not every moment needs a crowd or applause that's far too loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet spin that tells you where you've been. A song they played again tonight, and I just stood there in the dark, watching something take its flight from a quiet, fragile start. And even now I still believe in that soft and simple sign, that if they play it when I leave, and maybe it was never just mine. I used to sing just to be heard, every note, every word, like I had something left to prove, like I had something left to lose. But somewhere in the quiet nights, through every doubt, through every fight, I learned that standing here was more than just my fear. It wasn't in the loudest sound or in the way the room would drown, but in the silence, soft and true, I found something I never knew. I'm more than just a voice tonight, more than echoes in the air. Every song, every line carries pieces I can't repair. It's finally part of me. They don't just hear me anymore, they feel the weight behind each chord. The nights I almost walked away, the reasons why I chose to stay. And every time I take this stand, I feel it move beyond my hands, like something larger pulling me into who I'm meant to be. I used to chase a distant light, now I stand within its sight. And though I'm still not where I'll be, I'm closer than I used to be. I'm more than just a voice tonight, more than something you forget. Every word I hold inside is a promise I haven't met. I'm not just someone you might hear and lose between the noise. I've become something clear, more than just a voice. Maybe it was never fame or hearing people say my name. Maybe it was finding truth in everything I once refused. I'm more than just a voice tonight, more than sound beneath these lights. Every scar, every flame now lives inside my name. And even if it fades one day, or time begins to take its place, I'll still know what I became, more than just a voice. I wasn't looking for a hand, didn't think I'd understand what it meant to let someone see the things I'd been running from. The night was fading like before, same old street, same quiet door. But something felt a little strange, like the air had softly changed. You didn't say a word at first, just sat beside me in the dark. And somehow in that silent space I felt a different kind of spark. Love found me late, I didn't know it could arrive so soft and slow. No grand design, no perfect line, just someone there at the right time. And I had built my world alone, every song, every stone, but you stepped in without a sound and turned my whole world around. You listened more than you would speak, like you could hear what I would keep hidden somewhere far inside, where I had nowhere left to hide. I tried to act like I was fine, like I had everything in line, but you saw through the things I said, to every doubt I never read. And for the first time in a while, I didn't have to fake a smile, I didn't have to play a part. You met me where I left my heart. Love found me late, but just in time to rewrite every broken line. I thought I knew what I would be, but you showed something new to me. And all the nights I stood alone, every road I walked unknown, led me somewhere I had not planned, to find your heart and take your hand. Maybe love's not meant to chase, maybe it just finds its place in the spaces we ignore, in the quiet, something it came exactly when I'd need, not when I was young and free, but when I'd learned what it could be. And even now, through every song, through every place I still belong, there's one truth I've come to know. Love found me when I let go. Wasn't something we could name, no sudden spark, no sudden flame, just quiet steps, just passing days, and little changes in our ways. You learned the way I held my breath before I spoke what I'd confess, and I could tell without a word when something deep in you was stirred. We didn't rush, we didn't try to force a moment passing by. We let it grow in its own time, like something gentle, something kind. We learned each other slowly, like pages turning one by one. No need to hurry, no need to run, just staying where we'd begun. And in the silence between the lines, we found what we couldn't define, a love that didn't need to show, just something real we came to know. The mornings came with softer light, the days felt different, felt more right. Not because the world had changed, but something in us rearranged. You'd laugh at things I couldn't see, and somehow that would change me. And every time you took my hand, it felt like something we had planned. No perfect words, no grand design, just moments we could call as mine. And in those hours, calm and true, I found a home somewhere in you. We learned each other slowly, through every doubt, through every day. And every word we didn't say, we found another way. And every step we didn't force just led us gently on this course. A love that didn't overflow, but stayed and chose to grow. Maybe this is what it means, not the loudest, brightest scenes, but something steady, something real, a quiet truth we both could feel. We learned each other slowly, and somewhere in that patient time, your heart found space to meet with mine, without a need to define. And even now I still believe the strongest love we'll ever know is not the one that comes in fire, but the one that grows so slow. We used to talk until the dawn. Now words just come and then they're gone, like something fragile in the air. We both pretend is still there. Your eyes don't meet me like before. We stand on different sides of more. And though I try to reach your hand, I'm not sure you understand. There's something breaking in between, but nothing loud, nothing seen, just quiet shifts we can't explain, like sunshine slowly turning rain. I thought it would last forever, like nothing could change this way. We were stronger than the weather or anything time could say. But now I feel it slipping slow, through moments we don't even show. And I don't know what we became, but something doesn't feel the same. We laugh, but something's missing still, a space that silence seems to fill. And every night I lie awake, wondering what we didn't say. I try to tell myself it's fine, that love just bends with time. But something deep I can't ignore feels different than before. No shattered glass, no final fight, just fading edges in the light. And in that calm I'm losing sight of what once felt so right. I thought it would last forever, like nothing could pull apart every promise, every letter written deep within our heart. But now it's quieter somehow, and I don't know the reason
We're standing here in the same place, but I can't find us in this space. Maybe love don't always break. Maybe it just starts to ache in ways we never understood, even when it once felt good. I thought it would last forever, and maybe part of it still will. But something's changed between us now, something I can't fix or fill. And though I'm here and you are too, there's something lost I can't get through. And I don't know where we went wrong, just that it's not where we belong.
The door was closed, but not too loud. No final words, no gathered crowd. Just something quiet in the air that told me you were no longer there. Your coat was gone, your shoes were too, but nothing felt completely true. Like maybe you were still around, just hidden in another sound. No broken glass, no last embrace, no final look upon your face. Just silence where your voice would be, and that was all you left with me. We didn't say goodbye, no words to hold on to, no reason left behind, no moment to break through. We didn't say goodbye, just faded out of place. And now I'm left to wonder why there's nothing I can trace. The coffee's cold, the chair's still warm, like you just slipped beyond the norm. I catch myself still turning round, expecting you to make a sound. I try to think of what went wrong, but every answer feels too long, and every question leads me back to something I can't unpack. No blame to give, no line to draw, no clear mistake, no fatal flaw. Just something we could not define, that slowly slipped between the lines. We didn't say goodbye, no tears to wash it clean, no final lullaby to end what might have been. We didn't say goodbye, just left it hanging there, between the truth and every lie we never chose to share. Maybe some loves don't get a close, no final act, no perfect pose, just unfinished lines that stay
walk away. We didn't say goodbye, and maybe that's the worst. No ending to rely on, just silence in reverse. And even now I still can't see where you ended, where I begin. We didn't say goodbye, so I don't know where you've been.
Past that corner yesterday, where you once laughed and walked away. Nothing changed, the lights were the same, but everything felt rearranged. A song was playing somewhere low, a melody I used to know. And for a second, just like that, I thought I felt you coming back. It's strange the way a moment stays long after it should fade away, like echoes that don't understand. They're no longer in your hands. I still hear you sometimes, in the silence, in the sound, in the spaces in between, where your voice is still around. I still hear you sometimes, though I know you're really gone, like a line inside a song that just keeps playing on. The coffee shop still smells the same, the chair still holds your shape somehow. And even though I say your name, it doesn't answer me now. I try to move, I try to change, but every step still feels the same, like something I can't leave behind, no matter how I try. I told myself I'd let you go, that time would take what I don't know. But time just seems to hold you near in every place you used to be. I still hear you sometimes, in the quiet of the night, in the way the shadows fall, in the absence of the light. I still hear you sometimes, in a word I almost say, in a memory that won't fade, even when I walk away. Maybe love don't truly end, maybe it just learns to bend into something soft and far, like a distant fading star. I still hear you sometimes,
1,000 times in my own way. There's a part of you inside that never went away.
The silence stayed for quite some time, long enough to change my mind about the things I used to say and what I thought would never change. The songs I knew felt far away, like something lost in yesterday. And every word I tried to find was tangled deep inside my mind. I didn't know if I could start with all this weight inside my heart, but something quiet pulled me near to face the things I used to fear. I learned to sing again tonight, not like before, not just for show, but from a place I used to hide from everything I didn't know. Every note feels different now, every line I understand. I'm not the same as I was then, but I can sing again. I stood there where I used to stand, with trembling voice and empty hands. But now the silence didn't scare. It felt like something I could share. The pain I thought would pull me down became the place I found my sound. And every scar I tried to hide now lives within each note I guide. I don't need to chase the light or prove that I was ever right. I just need to let it be and sing what's left inside of me. I learned to sing again tonight, not chasing what I used to be, but holding on to something real that's finally a part of me. Every breath, every sound feels like something I have found. Not perfection, not a plan, just a man who sings again. Maybe loss is not the end, maybe it's the place we bend into something we don't see until we learn what we can be. I learned to sing again tonight, with everything I've been through now. No need to hide, no need to fight. I understand it somehow, and even if it breaks again or fades into the past, I know I'll always find my way. used to think that love would stay, like something time could not erase, that if it ever slipped away, it meant I'd lost my place. But now I walk these streets alone, and something in me feels like home. Not because you're here with me, but because I finally see it wasn't meant to always last. It wasn't built to hold the past. It came to show me something true about myself and you. Now I know what love was, not a promise that would stay, but a moment strong enough to change me in its way. Now I know what love was, not something I could keep, but something that could leave and still run deep. I used to chase what we had lost, like I could bring it back somehow. But standing here I see the cost, and I don't need it now. You were a part of who I am, a place I learned to understand that even when it fades away, it doesn't disappear. It lives inside the things I do, in every song that carries through, in every quiet truth I face. I still can feel your trace. Now I know what love was, not a story meant to stay, but a light that showed me paths I couldn't find my way. Now I know what love was, not something I could hold, but something that would shape me long after it was told. Maybe love is not the end, or something we defend. Maybe it's the way we grow into something we don't know. Now I know what love was, and I don't feel the pain, just a quiet kind of grace that still remains. And even if you're far away, or just a memory I hold, I know what we became was more than what we told. I've stood in rooms both full and bare, heard silence louder than the air, felt every rise, every fall, and wondered what it meant at all. I've chased a dream across the years, through every doubt, through every fear, and though it changed me more than I knew, it led me back to something true. Not everything was meant to stay, not every song was meant to play, but every note I've ever known still somehow feels like home. And I still sing, not for the crowd, not for the name, not for the need to be the same, but for the truth it always brings. And I still sing, through every loss, through every change, through everything I can't explain, I find myself in everything. I've loved, I've lost, I've let things go, held on longer than I should know, and every scar I tried to hide now lives within the songs I write. I don't need to understand every turn that brought me here. I just stand where I can stand and let the music make it clear. No perfect end, no final line, just moments turning into time. And in that flow I've come to see this is enough for me. And I still sing, not chasing what I left behind, not trying to outrun time, but holding on to what it brings. And I still sing with everything I've come to be, every broken piece of me, now finally part of everything. Maybe this was never mine to hold or leave behind. Maybe I was meant to be a voice within the melody. And I still sing, even when the lights grow dim, even when the world grows thin. There's something here that never leaves. And I still sing, not because I have to now, but because I understand how it's always been a part of me. And in the end, through everything, I'm still the man who sings.